Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible and all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your sunny, radiant hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other sunny and radiant host, Beth Martin. Beth, the pleasure as always. What's the crack?
We are sunny and radiant.
I should have burped before I started doing that. I was holding a, I
I
was
No, you're fine. I did a big snort like right when you started talking, and then I would like pinch my nose.
like,
So sorry if that came through.
it's quite right.
Everyone
I was like committed as soon
to
as I
burping?
started to no to like no I
Yeah.
was committed to the
Holding the burp?
the intro, so I was like, I'm just not going to stop now. I'll just power through it.
It's like
uh,
holding your pee.
yeah. Like, I'm sure nobody would have noticed had I not said anything. Flawless as always. uh, how
Um,
how you doing?
I'm good. So I saw you 4 days ago.
You did.
So we were saying before we hopped on here that like I would have been like super sad at the airport to say goodbye, but like I
Yeah,
was like, you were just like, I'll see you, I'll talk to you Monday, I'll see you
yeah.
Monday. And I was like, right. So that like I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Um, it's also been many days since I've had a cheese and kimchi toasty. I think I'm gonna have to
That's
like,
true.
yeah, I'm literally like on the hunt now for
Good kimchi.
they sell it in the stores.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna like start there and then probably it won't be the same. And then I'll be like,
Yeah,
Andy,
I'm sure there'll
I
be
need
probably.
your little teddy bear glass jars.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Very cute. That I know. Like, I mean, at the time, I was just scrambling for like any of those jars that I had, and I was like, I don't care what this has on it. Like, I used another one, it didn't have a seal, and like got mold in it, and I was gutted. So that was a whole jar was kind of ruined. Yeah,
Oh
it's heartbreaking.
no.
But I know for
Yeah.
next time,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
And then I've been like craving curry sauce I'm just like on everything. I'm like, oh, I could put curry sauce on that. I could put curry sauce on that. I could dip curry sauce
I
in my
wonder,
curry sauce.
yeah,
It's
like
like a
if you,
thing. It's like my palate has like shifted within a week and
wow,
a half.
I love
And
it.
I'm just like, I want chips, French fries, and curry, and some guy to like tell me an amazing story as he serves me.
Oh yeah, truly, like absolutely
I
mind blown.
feel like I should have gotten a photo with that guy.
Yeah. I like cooking like some really and a really couple of nice pieces of fish as he was doing it as well.
Like I should have been
Pretty,
recording the entire thing and
yeah, it's
like,
true.
yeah, that'll live on in infamy.
Unbelievable.
Also, there's a show on Netflix now that I have not watched, but it's like
Hmm.
so up my alley. It's about, it's called, I think, Bodkin, and
I
it's
yes, heard about this.
okay. So I watched the intro like like as I was throwing on makeup for our listeners.
Uh-huh.
You're welcome,
You're
everyone.
welcome, listeners. Yeah.
Right. And it's like this story about these two podcasters that are trying to find like murders, serial killer like
Hmm.
thing, and everyone's like, "There's never no serial killers in Ireland," and literally like one of the shots
Hmm.
right at the beginning is the lock that we went to, the first lock that we went to outside of Bray.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. And I was like, "That's," I think it was locked in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I have the same photo of that,
No
and they're
way.
standing there.
So
Yeah, so
cool.
I know. So that's my job this week is to watch that and be like, I'm so Irish. I was there.
It's true. I've heard it's great, and I like. Is it Will? What's his name?
Um
The
he's
American.
yeah, he's in
He
everything.
rules. He
He's super
was Rick River and stuff
funny.
like that. Yeah. He's Will
Yes,
Forte.
yes.
Will Forte. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, no, I will. I can't just. I'm not on Netflix currently, but like, and then be like, and I feel like I'm really missing out at the minute. I feel like it's time to get back on there because I want to see Baby Reindeer as well. So
Oh, okay. Remind me to share some information with you
oh
later.
yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Wink,
That
wink,
works.
mensch,
Wink, wink,
mensch.
wink, wink.
I'm
Uh,
putting it on my to-do list really
To-do list.
quick. Yes. What's the
Uh,
crack with you?
so and I think I'm going to pronounce it properly. I went to a festival on Sunday. We're going to get into more detail on that. Celebrating the start of summer. It's
What do you call it?
Bealtaine. I think
Nice
I'm pronouncing it
job.
right now. Bealtaine.
Someone's mad at you right now, Andy.
No, I think I'm doing it right now.
Beltana?
Bealtaine. Yeah.
Biltana?
Bealtaine. It's supposed to be an amazing listening experience. Uh, so it is a festival to celebrate the start of summer. I have friends, two of my good friends, they have been to it a couple of times and I kept meaning to go. And so glad I went. It was really incredible. Um, Essentially, it was, had the makings, the hallmarks of like kind of a musical festival in a way, but is on like a sacred site. There's a lot of history there. Um, so there were bands playing. There's some fantastic bands, like really incredible. Um, the whole thing is steeped very much in Irish culture, and like a lot of the bands were like a very kind of like Celtic sounds, like certain types of drums and flutes and so on, and just like combinations of instruments that I wouldn't find super common, and it was just
Mhm.
incredible to hear that. There was a wellness stage with not even a stage, just a wellness area with like sound baths and yoga and guided meditation and things like that. Like I didn't end up doing any yoga, but I saw the yoga field and there must have been between 100, 200 people doing yoga at the same time. It was pretty incredible. There was a guy who told us stories of the area, like took us around the site, a guided tour, and told us stories. So he told us about like fairy trees. He told us about so there's a rock on that piece of land that all the kind of former kings of Ireland had to come to like make their sort of rule official. It was really fascinating. And just a really kind of wonderful experience to be part of, which all sort of culminated in this big bonfire and like I cut like a pageantry around it. So they had like people on horses like dressed as warriors. They had like a parade that came in. It was
I'm dying of jealousy right now. Why didn't I stay like
I
3 extra
know
days?
it was, but it's going to happen every year. I think it's something I'm going to make a regular trip to. What was the
You
really
should.
one of the most magical things was, so as the bonfire was lit, because of where we were, which is fairly high up, you had a good view of the kind of lands around there. And there's lots of different places in Ireland that celebrate the start of the summer. So you could see bonfires being lit on different hills. It was very cool. Yeah.
That's like a dream of mine because you see it in movies, and I know I've
Yeah.
mentioned that. Like, I'm
Yeah. The lights.
so
Oh, it was so cool. It was,
happy for you, Andy, that you had that
thank
experience.
you. Thank you.
Do you see
Not,
how I'm not like,
yeah,
God
not
damn
jealous at
it?
all. But it was, and it's like and I know I've talked to you before about like via yoga, getting more in touch with like spiritual side of things and how I feel more of a connection to that as time has went on. It really kind of that experience and that kind of festival really kind of connected me into that in a way that I kind of wasn't anticipating, and it was really kind of fantastic. It really was. Um, there's
It,
this. Sorry, go on.
well, it just sounds like it pulls from like all of it's like, we talk about mind, body, spirit a
Hmm.
lot.
Hmm.
And really, like when you do, not in a lazy way, but when it's just kind of presented to you in a way that's unexpected, not, and like not something, um, I'm not explaining
No,
myself
I know exactly what you're saying.
well.
When it takes you by
Yes.
surprise,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
but yeah, you're not because like
So
it
you
is
have
some
no preconceived notions or like,
exactly.
I'm gonna have this experience. It's just like the best.
It just happens, and that certainly wasn't something I was expecting to get, but it really was, such a sort of wonderful connection to all of that. And yeah, it was just a fantastic experience, really good vibes, just lots of good people about, just like one of those places that like attracted sort of, outsiders is a poor word, but I think people would know what I mean if I described, people as that. So there was like all sorts of people from all over the world, but there was just people, who'd brought along instruments and were playing like didgeridoos or horns or like the it's a kind of a steel drum thing, like a
Mhm.
smaller kind of version, a hand pan sort of
I
people playing
have
that.
one.
Oh, do you? Really?
Yeah,
Is it hard to
I
play?
do. No, in mine you can play with your hands, or they're little
Yeah.
like mallets you can play with, and it actually, each sound, depending on, I think it's called the quantum,
Okay.
and it's got 7 tones, and each tone matches to your chakras, and so
Oh,
you're listening to it, but it's actually like, you know, if people believe in this sort of thing, it's realigning your chakras just by
interesting.
like hearing it with your ear.
like honestly, I think, and I've thought about this before because I've always loved the sound of like steel drums and music, and they're so rarely
Same.
kind of used.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, and I've talked about learning an instrument. I think that sort of thing, percussion's also kind of spoken to me, but I don't really like the idea of actual drums. So maybe something like that could be good. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'll show you a photo of mine and we'll see if we're talking about the same
yeah,
instrument, but I think we are. Yeah.
um, but there was also fairy trees. There was fairy houses. I sent Beth pictures of the fairy
Like,
houses.
but they weren't, I don't even know how to, they were like teardrop shaped, but
Yes,
inside they had actually the fairies, right?
really incredible
Really live
detail.
lavishly,
Yeah. And there was one like there was
well
a fairy
decorated.
kitchen. There was one that was a
Uh-huh.
fairy kitchen, and there was
Yeah.
I think there was only two I got photos of, but yeah, they were so incredible. Also, and everybody will be pleased to know, I wore my Utilikilt again. I love it. It's the best thing ever. Really, really love it. Um,
So life-changing.
it really is life changing. Like, and also because like that was a full day wear, so it was like I had it when it was warm. I had it in the evening. And my friends were like, "Are you cold?" And I'm like, "I'm really not actually. It's really kind of holding the temperature well. I'm really kind of liking it." So yeah, it's as weather allows it, I'm essentially going to be wearing it all summer, I think. So yeah,
As it should
as it
be.
should be, as it was written, so it shall be.
And it was funny because I was flying, because I'm interrupting you and talking
And that's
about
all right.
me. I was on my way out. I was flying British Airways domestic to Heathrow,
Mm-hmm.
and like I saw three people wearing their tartan kilts.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm assuming
Nice.
they were
Wow.
probably like going to Scotland, or is that more of a Scottish
It
thing?
is, but it's funny because like I noticed quite not there was guys in sort of more historical garb. At the festival as well, and they were wearing kilts too. So I think it
Okay.
is it's both really. I think definitely more Scottish, but there definitely is a bit of a connection here as well.
Hmm. And now your tartan is khaki.
Yeah, which I can live with. Like it's a color I like. Um, but it's so funny actually. It's kind of, and I think like even wearing it, when I wore it when we went out to Belfast last week.
Yeah.
And I saw people like going, what's he wearing? And I overheard people at the festival being like, is he wearing a dress? And I just kept walking. I did hear one people go, is he wearing a dress? And then somebody going, it looks good actually. And I'm like, okay, I'll take both of those comments.
Right?
So yeah, so it was great. But yeah, I mean, like I can't speak highly enough of this festival. It was such an amazing experience. Family friendly, just completely different to anything else I've done before. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's sort of saying to Beth, my hope is because it's a family, she should come again for that and maybe
Yep.
bring the fam next time.
Yep.
Be rad.
Yep.
So yeah,
It would be.
so
It
yeah,
would
I had a
be.
blast.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, it was really
And
good.
like, especially sometimes it's like kind of like I was saying last week about you just need like a a change of scenery to light your fire a little
Yeah.
bit, or like a change of experience, like something to just kind of like, oh, right, like all is well in the world in this
Yeah.
moment, it's just a nice
I like
time for like to readjust
it
yourself like
is.
spiritually.
I think that's so true, actually. And I think as well, because I've noticed certainly April was in terms of was a kind of a month where I wasn't doing very much. I was saving money, but like I wasn't getting out very much, and it really I noticed the difference in not doing that and how much I kind of need to do that. So I think that's gonna be good in terms of lighting a fire under me to find other things, make some more money, be able to, provide for myself a bit more reasonably going forwards. So
Yeah.
just to
So you
like,
can do the things that
exactly,
keep that fire burning.
exactly. So yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Good.
But yeah, but so, I mean, based on this and I chatted to Beth about this, based on this summer festival, we thought we would talk about summer, generally how we feel about it, our experiences of it, how it differs in terms of the UK versus the UK and Ireland versus America. Um, and we haven't discussed this, but what I have decided to name the episode. I mean, we can next this. We can workshop
Okay.
this.
All
Is
right,
lo
let's argue.
is love in summer. So
Love and
it's like
summer.
summer loving, but it's reversed, right?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
going with summertime in the living's easy.
Oh, that's good as
Ah,
well. Okay, so you'll find
close.
out whenever this episode's posted which one won.
Which one? What did you say? Summertime, what?
Mine
Summer
is
lovin'?
love
Love
in
and summer?
summer, so that's a
Okay.
reverse of summer loving, right? Very
Summer
clever.
loves,
Yeah,
summer
exactly.
lovin' happen. Okay. Uh, sorry, I'm writing with this horrible tempera. It's like, it's basically like a giant, I'm writing in crayon.
Okay,
Hopefully
perfect.
I'll be able to read that.
That is the
Uh,
medium of choice for Bendy podcast listeners
right.
and
Crayon.
hosts. Yeah, yeah,
Crayola, please sponsor us.
yeah. Oh, please. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so like, just to move on to our subject today. Oh, sorry. Before we do, I suppose I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't discussed if there's any what's occurring. Actually, I feel like
The
I'm jumping
only,
ahead.
yeah, no, no, you're good. I'm updating the website with some new photos
Uh-huh.
of our travels and us being silly and fun. And
Nice.
so yeah, so that, and then I've also added a review page. I'm saying I've already done this, even though I haven't, but by the time this episode airs, this will have happened. So, meaning like probably tonight. But so thank you for all of the wonderful friends and fans that have sent us feedback. So
Yeah.
that is, I'm just adding that to the website. So that are any, yeah, so that people can see what we're about.
Yep.
And if anybody would like to leave us a 5-star review or a written review or 5 stars and a written review, you can now
Yeah.
do that.
All of the above.
So it's just on the review page on our website. And yeah, check it out because you can see some of the beautiful places in Ireland. I think I might just start like a page of just photos of us like doing our thing.
Yeah, like and on our continued quest and get our continued quest, in all things Utilikilt, and we talked about trying to get Utilikilt sponsorship. So one of my friends took photos of me in Utilikilt. I've got
Thank
quite a
you.
few at
Okay,
that
I was gonna ask
festival,
for
so
that.
I will send them through to you.
Please do.
Um,
I'll put it on our socials and then tag them and see if they'll
yeah,
wanna
yeah, yeah.
have a
So
chit chat.
yeah, like and like they're good. Well, I mean, yeah, they do look good. So yeah, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, sponsor us, Utilikilt, please.
Well, then like, the fact that I mean you've already left them a glowing review, many of them, but now you actually worn one
I
overnight,
It's true.
basically,
I
at
should
a
actually
an Irish
write them a
festival.
review.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I should actually write them a review and I will do that for sure.
Okay.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we can maybe move on to our subject for the day. Love and Summer, as Andy's calling it for now. So yeah, so I
I love it when you refer to yourself in the third person.
Yeah, it's like The Rock, right? I'm just like The Rock in every other way
Hell
you can
yeah.
imagine. Um, so yeah, I guess probably as a way to kick things off, I was going to ask like generally uh I know it's pretty easy to go, oh yeah, I love the summer, but like what are your feelings about the summer? How do you kind of prepare for it? What was your average sort of summer experience? Any kind of thoughts on that?
So, do you want to start with like what summer's like in each of our
Yeah.
countries? Okay, so I'm gonna bounce around a little bit.
Yep.
I'll come back to like childhood and like typical summer, but like in our country, there's no school
Hmm.
for about 2.5, 3 months. So
Same
children
here.
are okay, so children are done and um basically everyone loves summer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously the experience is so radically different across the US because you have the full gamut of like,
weather,
weather. Yeah, exactly. So
heat, humidity. Yeah,
it's true. It's going to be better.
tornadoes. That was a good
Yes.
burp.
Thank you.
You're
Mike
welcome.
picked that up nicely, did it?
Mhm.
Um,
I give that a 7.
hooray. Um, so like yeah, like, and I think so, yeah, I think, we all love summer too. But I think like our experience, like, oh, I speak for my experience in the north, would be like, by and large, our best months tend to be at the start and at the end of summer. So a May's good, your September's pretty good. The months that you would typically have off in school would be July and August.
Okay.
They can be a bit of a crapshoot. You will sometimes get nice weeks or nice even handful of days in there, but like, so. But when Beth was here at the start of May, and I say May is often good, we had a lovely week of weather for the most part,
We had the best, like
really
it didn't
fantastic.
rain at all.
No, and some really kind of hot days, which again are few and far between. But then
I'm air quoting hot.
yes, yeah, 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 not like American hot, but like hot for us, a
Uh-huh.
scorcher, an absolute scorcher.
It was adorable because we went hiking and you guys were like freaking out about like it's gonna be sunny. I might sunburn,
Yeah,
and it's a real thing. And I was like, how many like real sunny days do you have? And you were like, I don't know, 12 or 13.
yeah, I would say that'd be pretty average on a year.
But it's
So we
like the
like
weather changes so
it
fast,
does. It really
so
does.
it's yeah.
Because like even today it is gray, overcast. It has been raining all day, So and like, sadly, that's fairly typical. I mean, I I feel like I paint the weather in this country in a really bad light because I think that like I walk dogs a lot, so I'm outdoors a lot, and I don't think I get rained on that often, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's like, but it is overcast a lot, and if it rains, it rarely kind of rains that hard, but it's rain in the summer is a typical experience
Yeah.
here, So
I asked Andy, I was like, oh, because he's got this really nice backyard
yeah,
with a little pond and
yeah,
some fruit trees. And I was like, do you like have parties outside? And he's like, no, the
you just
weather's
can't.
too unpredictable.
It is, and I mean, like,
So,
I have had parties
which like, go ahead.
where we have like ended up outside because it has been nice, but you can't plan for it at all. You cannot. Um. So yeah, it's yeah, like, and it's I think being the position I'm in these days, it is nicer. I kind of know the summer well enough to kind of know when I can do things a bit more often, like as in outdoors events. But I remember like being in school and our exam season was often in May into June, and that would be when the nicest weather was, and you would be indoors revising and going, I want to be outside in the sun, and you couldn't be, it was heartbreaking.
Hmm. It's interesting here. Summers started. I mean, obviously, there's like the summer season where there's the first day of summer, but for us here in Southern California, 45 minutes from the border um, of Mexico,
Hmm.
it's probably started, what is it, May, March
Hmm.
through October, probably is really like, no, November.
It's
Sorry.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, no. That's like pool weather.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we
So
get
it's
like, yeah,
I'm like it's kind of like I live in the land of eternal summer,
yeah,
but we don't have seasons. So it's
yeah,
like it's cold, it just gets like colder in the morning. But like this morning for the first time I was able to like get up. We have a little sunroom that has no heat.
nice.
Um
Oh yeah, it's no
and
heating. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so like it's an indoor outdoor room kind of thing where
Hmm.
it's got a door, but like yeah, there's no heat, but it's like it's got windows and a doggy door. But that's kind of where I was doing yoga because I really don't have anywhere to go if I get up early and everyone's still asleep, where I'm not making noise and
Yeah.
like the bird won't start chirping or whatever. So I went out there this morning and I was like, oh, it's warm enough for me to start like if I get up at 5 a.m., I can have like quiet time for a couple hours and do yoga and write in my
Yeah.
journal and like
Nice.
be my super awesome weird self. And that happened this morning. So
Good.
yeah, so it's like yeah, it's nice.
What, one of the things I was gonna ask, where you are, is there like months in the year that are unbearably hot? I mean, those are times in the summer that's too much. And how long does that
Yeah,
period
like
sort of last for?
July, yeah, June, July, August can be June, July, yeah, June and July are really bad,
Okay.
like 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that is Celsius.
Yeah, that's
Um,
high 30s, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so you're like do you guys have crock pots
Yes, we
where
do.
you cook things very slowly? That's
Yeah.
kind of what you're doing. So like
I love it.
there are days where I will drive to pick up the kids instead of walking because it's too goddamn hot.
Yes, fair enough.
And they'll like they it's almost like instead of rain, and it's interesting, their school, there are no hallways
Hmm.
because they don't need,
Oh yeah, they can just go outdoors.
they
Wow.
just, so they eat lunch outside, they do a lot of their lessons outside. Like when you see their school, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like a bunch of like, you know, trailers
Like
with
porta cabins.
air
Yeah,
con
yeah.
kind of, yeah, exactly, with air conditioners on them, but they don't need, it never rains here. I mean, we've had a really weird year, but like it never rains here, so they don't need that kind of thing.
That's
It's like an
wow.
outdoor, like California outdoor malls. We don't have,
Yeah, I've seen a few.
well, yeah. So it's not like a mall that you walk into, the Mall of America or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just sort of like a outdoor street. Anyways, I'm
not
not
jealous at
trying to
all.
gloat here. Like
No,
Andy
no,
and I were
it's
talking about why it's so fucking expensive to live here. It's
yes,
because the weather's
because of
so
that.
nice and everybody, yeah, wants to, be where the weather is nice.
Like, and I mean, I think, and I like, I kind of the stage in my life, especially as I've got older, where weather is not the be all and end all. Like, it kind of upsets me whenever weather's, I'm going to an event and like the bad weather ruins that event because it's outdoors. That's the only thing that really kind of bothers me in any major way. Like and of course you acclimatize to stuff. And like I think, by and large, because it is pretty neutral throughout the year, like it does get cold in the winter, but not super cold. And although it gets warm, it doesn't get incredibly warm. There's a nice sort of middle sort of area through line that I think is quite comforting, and that I have really kind of grown to, whenever you do get a nice day, or even you get like it's such a good opportunity to, like, go out with the dogs, go out with some friends and things like that. It's I- you know and I think it's a common dream for people um who live here to, escape to somewhere with nicer weather, do you know what I mean, and live in that sort of
Hmm.
environment. But
Hmm.
it's less important to me as I've got older, certainly.
Hmm. And I've heard people here, say that they miss seasons and they
Yeah.
miss, and we do get some of that, but like, the change of the leaf color and,
Yeah.
you know, uh, um, do you guys have seasons?
Yes. Very
Okay.
much so.
Okay. And we did in Oregon as well. So it is very different being somewhere that really just has two.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so far I'm not really complaining.
No, I'd say not. Like
Um,
uh
you go.
no, no, no. I think, as I say, I think, one of the things you talked about multiple times when you were here is that, like, one of the upsides to that is that, like, I mean, we talked about all the things that, like, try to kill you in hot environments,
Yeah, everything is trying to kill you
yeah,
here.
both plant life and animal life that are
Yeah,
potentially lethal. And we have
yeah.
none of that here, so it's like,
He was like,
there's
we have
there's upsides.
badgers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
I was like, no cougars, no, like here it's cougars, mountain lions, scorpions,
Yeah.
rattlesnakes, ticks, and then the plants also.
Yep.
We found Star got like it's called the foxtail in her
Uh-huh.
paw, and what they'll do, this little stupid like seed, very
Mm-hmm.
smart, will work its way into your skin, and it's barbed, kind of like the backwards
Oh,
barbs.
yeah.
So that just kind of like works its way in through the paw, and then it'll just find its way to like an organ and kill you.
What a nightmare.
Yay! And then, yeah, but then the body falls and then the plant gets to grow kind of thing. But that's just, it's like I, we've got this green space behind us. We've got a creek running. The dog cannot go back there right now because I don't want to pay another $500 to get a foxtail extracted from her
Wow.
sweet little puppy pad.
I
So,
like, dogs.
yeah,
Dogs aren't exactly like, better be careful here. They're like,
right. Yes, awesome,
Here's
running.
something. It hurt me before. Did this hurt me before? Maybe let's go get it anyway. Love them.
Um,
Hmm.
so can we talk about childhood summer memories?
Yeah. Uh,
What are some of your, so you took me to a little town where you said
yes.
that you had spent some time. I talked to your sister about it too. I was like, we went there. She's like, oh, we had summer. That's like our summer
Yes.
place.
And I think and that was one of the things. I mean, like, so I'll talk a little bit about mine, but like I'll talk about, I want to like maybe ask,
Mhm.
because you live in different parts of the US, whether this was like a typical experience for you. But oftentimes we would, want to get away and do something in the summer, but having a family is expensive, so it's hard to like take, big trips all the time. So like often we would go to Portrush, which is the area that I took you to. That was a good place to go to because it had like a water
Water World.
park. Yeah, water world. Yes, a water park called Water World.
Not the Kevin Costner Water World.
Sadly not. If only. I
Did I
think
tell you I saw the Water World show at
I have seen
Universal?
it too. It's incredible.
It's epic.
It
And
really is.
they used, from what I understand, someone correct me, but I think they used stuff from the actual movie for the
Yeah,
set there.
it's
So
really
yeah,
fantastic.
it is.
Yes, no, it's very good. I'm trying to think if Waterworld, the theme park in Portrush, predated Waterworld the movie.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
Quite possibly. They have
Yeah.
a lawsuit in their or have a lawsuit in their hands.
Right,
Anyway,
right.
so like we would have went up there because it was nice. There was beaches there. I'd say there was a water park. There was a load of stuff. There was also and such a crucial part of like my childhood and formative in terms of who I am now. It had like lots of arcades. So like, I would be given coins and I would go in, I would play like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game and just hang out in the arcade for a while and just have like an amazing time. And I had friends, sometimes, they had like a access to a house up there and we would go up and spend time with my friend. And again, we do the same sort of thing. But like it's filled with like holiday homes. It's also like riddled with caravans. So I because then there was a question I wanted to have for you. Like, there's also caravan parks there, and caravans are such a common thing in this country for people just to take them to beach areas, nowhere too far, probably within about an hour reach, depending on the
It's like
person.
in the States, that's a trailer.
Yeah, trailer. Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
and like, are they? Because I mean, we saw the both the kind of mobile ones, and we saw the stationary caravans or trailers. And are they common, or would motorhomes be more common for you guys?
So, we call if so in Ireland, the mobile trailers
Hmm.
are ritzy and nice, and it's like it's in a location where there's a view and you can walk to the beach.
Yeah.
Here we call them trailer parks.
Yes. Okay.
Um, and it's more low income housing,
That's interesting. Where
but a
rather than
lot
a
of them,
yeah,
yeah,
rather
and then
than a portable
upscale,
holiday home type thing. Yes.
right,
Okay. How
right. But a
interesting.
lot of them have like the locations where they have these trailer parks are oftentimes really, 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 I mean, you know, some developer would love to go in there and rip it all down and put up like
Get you.
four million dollar homes.
Yeah.
Um, so I was telling Andy, you can buy one of those here closest to the beach for, 300 and something $1,000
Hmm.
US, but the monthly like fee for leasing the space that the trailer's on is like $4,000 American. And it's just, yeah.
Who's that money going to? Like some land baron, yeah, who's just
Yeah,
wow, I
yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
mean, I don't
yeah,
love it, it's horrible, horrifying,
yeah.
but like unsurprising
I
nonetheless.
know. But then in terms of caravans or like mobile trailers, those are big. A lot of people use there's like pop-up, yeah, it's a huge thing.
Uh,
Like tent camping is huge
yeah,
here in the summer, and
yeah. See,
a
that's
lot of people have motorhomes.
I suppose that's I mean, like people do cotton tents here as well, don't get me wrong, but it's because of the colder weather. It's I
Yeah.
think it's probably doesn't happen quite as much, which is that's an interesting one. Like, so I mean, would that have been your experience when you were younger? Would you have like, packed up a car and traveled to like a beach somewhere, or would you have went further afield for your like summer trips?
So we had a beach house in North Carolina until we
Nice.
moved to Oregon. And so like my summer memories are because my parents worked at a university that didn't have summer classes, so they
Hmm.
would get 3 months off too.
Nice.
And then we would go to live in North Carolina for 3 months, and
Awesome.
we had a little rowboat. We had little islands. We were on
How
it's called
nice.
I know it was really
This
nice.
was on the sea or was it on a lake?
It's called a sound, so
Okay,
it's salt water, it's ocean water, but it's
I see.
protected. So it's like a spit of land. On one side is the ocean, on the other side is the sound, and we were on the sound
How
side.
lovely.
It was so great. And I remember being like a horrible little child, and I got a really bad jellyfish sting. Did I
Hmm.
tell you this?
I don't think so.
Um, so yeah, so I was like swimming off the dock in front of our house, and have you ever been hugged by a jellyfish?
No, thankfully.
It's really horrible.
I can't imagine.
Uh,
Actually,
yeah, so
yes, this is ringing a bell.
yeah.
I don't think you've talked about it on pod, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I remember like just screaming and my dad like jumping in the water and like ripping this jellyfish off of me and just the pain of that. It was like bee stings all over your body kind of
Oosh.
thing. So then I was like super anti-jellyfish for the rest
Yeah.
of my life up
Yeah.
until now. I
Hmm.
think I'm still not, I mean, I get that they need to exist, just not in my perimeter.
Sure.
So I would like row around in the rowboat, or if it was like a bad day and all the jellyfish, like the wind blew them all in, and I would stand on the dock. This is horrible. And scoop them up in my net and fling them into the grass and let them fry.
Wow.
That's my
I,
summer
and
experience.
we've had those jellyfish in blast, but like, I mean, and like, but like, what jellyfish are like, I think what a scourge of the oceans is, if it's my understanding as well. Like, there's so many of them, so you're doing a good service. Uh,
Yeah.
the like, jellyfish certainly in our part of the world are rare, and certainly the poisonous ones are. But like, I have such a memory, so like, then the place that you saw, we didn't actually go there on our trip. You saw the rope bridge.
Yeah.
So there's like
It's
a
like there's like two islands, and then in between there's a rope bridge, and
yeah.
like the farthest island has a little house on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's like if someone is an introvert and really, really doesn't want to be bothered,
Yeah, it's the dream.
that's the yeah, the ideal
The
location if there weren't tourists.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, this is true. But like that, and I mean like that, I mean it's to me like such a funny tourist attraction. It's like a rope bridge that you can walk across. And like I remember going because I remember seeing some jellyfishes in the water around there. Like I remember seeing a Portuguese man of war, and it was like
Mhm.
it was massive, but like it is very rare you see them in the oceans in our area, thankfully. Well, I mean, like based on my experience, at least anyway. But thinking about the rope bridge, it always kind of makes me laugh that, one of our tourist attractions was just a rope bridge. But like it's now like really robust and quite, it's very safe. But like my memories of going on that as a child were like it was terrifying. Like it was not, it was pretty rickety. It was a very scary experience going across there. And I kind of like that aspect of it. Do you know what I mean? As much as it terrified me, and I have memories of like walking across there and being, I think I said to you before, I'm not crazy about heights. I definitely have a bit of fear of heights.
Yes,
So it
yes.
was, and you're pretty high up there, so it was like,
Yeah. No, it's like it's not uh you're high up and it's literally like something out of Indiana Jones, that kind of
yeah,
rope bridge where
yeah,
it's like you can see through and it's
yes,
made of rope.
100%. Yeah.
And like I just picture like, you know,
Me looking down, seeing a big
somebody with
jellyfish.
yeah, what is it, the
Yeah,
katana and like
yeah, that's true. Indiana Jones style. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Um,
But then like tent camping or like
yeah,
we couldn't afford anything other than tent
yeah.
camping. And like in the summer, we would also do like a cross country trip. That's like kind of a thing. Um, but we would stay with my grandparents in Oregon for like, I don't know, sometimes like 3 weeks,
Hmm.
a month. And so it was like hauling the dog and the rabbit, and
What
it was more like we would stay in hotels.
What sort of length of a trip are we? So if you're going cross country, you're talking multiple days.
Eight days.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that with two children
Yeah.
who like didn't really like each other and were like, you can't look out of my window. Mom, she's
Oh
looking out of my
yeah.
window. And then like pushing each other's seatbelt buttons, so your seatbelt would come off. And like, that was before we had to wear seatbelts really.
Yeah.
And so like I would lay on the where people put like I don't know if you, yeah, like if you have like a sedan car
Hmm.
and then you have like people that put like Kleenex and like Beanie Babies or whatever,
Yes.
like
Hmm.
in that area, like I would lay there and then my sister would lay like on the seat. And it was like having bunk beds.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
mad.
And then my mom would try and like stuff us full of bran muffins, and I will like never ever eat a bran muffin ever again. I would just like rip mine up and like try and get the dog to eat it. And finally the dog was just like, I can't eat these
Uh,
anymore either.
so they're like they're kind of like brown sort of muffins. They're like more fibrous sort of muffins,
They're
right? Yeah.
so
And is
fibrous.
there like any there's I'm sure some sugar in there. Is there any like fruit or anything in them? Or
No, I mean,
oh,
it wasn't like fruitcakey. It was just bran, maybe some raisins to make it really
okay.
gross. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I love it.
The things I will never, I'm clearly having some emotions about
Really?
this.
Yeah.
We're talking
So,
about summer. No, let's talk about these fucking bran muffins.
these
So,
flashbacks. Yeah, I
yeah.
like
So,
that. That's mhm.
I never actually stayed in a trailer until we renovated one in
Okay.
like 2014. So I was married.
Hmm.
And like actually we were at like we were camping in the forest with it was a they have these like they're called regional Burning Man events.
Hmm.
And I was like 8 months pregnant and I was like shitting in a bucket and I was like, fuck this, fuck this. I'm
Yes.
never tent camping ever again.
Fair
And
enough.
so I was like then 9 months pregnant and we went and bought a trailer and like then spent like 6 months renovating it and then used it all summer. It was so great. We
Nice.
kept that for a long time.
Like,
Yeah.
I think, even I just I've done tent camping a handful of times and it's fine. And I think that like I'm sure this would be your experience then too, because I know we also be with share trouble sleeping. Like sleeping in a tent is rough. I find getting any sort of good sleep in a tent is very difficult. And it just
Yes.
puts me off doing it unless I absolutely have to. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not my favorite thing. We're going camping not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Hmm.
And it's this nice place. They've got like hot and we're
They've
getting
got
towards
facilities and stuff there.
they've got
Yeah.
like you can actually rent. We're not doing this for tent camping, but like tent camping with Mike is like we call it, I mean, glamping.
I was gonna
We
say,
glamp.
very well
Yeah.
supplied. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you have 3 meals plus happy hour and
Sure.
appetizers. He rigs up Christmas lights so we can always see where we're going.
Love it.
There's like a foot massage chair, not really, but basically like all the things that you could
Okay.
possibly
That
ever
sounds like a
need.
good comic
Yeah.
experience, honestly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he like that's his love language is like taking care of people while
Yes.
camping. So
I love it.
everyone calls him Camp Mom and like
Yeah,
these are adults, right? That are
sure.
like, how do you
But I mean,
is
like,
my cooking breakfast? Yeah.
everybody likes being looked after, honestly. Like,
They
it's
do. They
everybody
do. And
does.
he's like, I don't know what it is about him, but he's just like, I want to make sure the coffee is ready when people wake up and that they have, the
Nice.
food that they need. And, it's, yeah,
That's awesome.
it's really nice.
It is.
But also like I have to help and participate and like do dishes and,
Yeah. Yeah, I
not
think that's it.
like,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
everybody chips in a bit. It's good.
Mhm.
And it doesn't means you can enjoy yourself a wee bit. Yeah, for
Have
sure.
you ever been like camping in a caravan?
Um, I feel like I have. I don't have super strong memories. I've definitely stayed in a caravan, but I have no strong memories connected to it, honestly.
I'll say you also can't sleep in those either.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all. They're grim. It's not
Yeah.
good. It's
And
um
it's like someone rolls over and the whole thing shakes.
yes.
Or like
I
someone gets up to go to the bathroom and like everybody knows it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, and it's we've talked about it before, people who are incredible these sound sleepers, and how jealous I am of them. People who like, even though those things were happening, or would just be like still get a solid 8 or 9 hours of sleep in the evenings. And it's infuriating, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. And like when you were talking about the festival and like like, I'm gonna just sleep for what I can do and then get up and go
Hmm.
home. And like, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be like not like having slept and then like have to deal with people kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like having an exit plan is always ideal.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And also not being afraid to go, you know what, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah,
enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No thanks.
yeah.
That's all for
We're so
me.
good at summering.
I know, we
Um,
really are.
so did you ever like, do you guys have summer camps where your parents are like, all right, I gotta work, like you gotta go somewhere?
So
Or would you just deal with like the boredom?
that's good. That was something I wanted to ask you about as well, because so kind of, but they're not. Because I think my conception certainly of a summer camp in the US is that you go away somewhere. Instead, like youth centers or leisure centers or things like that in your local area would have summer schemes where you would go along to, and there'd be like activities and whatever, and like maybe some sports and whatnot. And then you would just go home at the end of the day. You wouldn't actually be staying away. But like I always kind of loved the idea of a summer camp, and whenever I whenever I was in North Carolina doing my study abroad thing that summer, friends of mine had volunteered at a summer camp the previous year and were going to do it again. And I wanted to go over there and have that experience, being a counselor. But whatever way it worked, essentially, as these things, I basically would have had to fly home and fly back again, and I couldn't really justify paying two like flights to the US in that year. So it
Hmm.
it, it didn't work out. But I always kind of like, and I think that's a really evocative idea for people over here. And like, we see summer camp in so many movies and things like that. So it's very exciting for
Yeah.
us, I think.
I I think it's more of like an East Coast thing.
Okay.
Um,
Did you go
there
to any summer camps?
I never did, but I was a counselor.
Oh, okay. How's
Yeah.
that?
It was so fucking great, Andy. I'm
Hmm.
like now I'm like I loved it so much. And I was in this like I was on the Oregon coast. I did it 3 times.
Uh-huh.
Not for the whole summer, but like a week or 2 weeks. And um like twice in high school and then once in university.
Hmm.
And I just loved it. It's just I wish that more people even I honestly like would get the counselor experience because it's just
Hmm.
it feels so good. There's, you know, a humor that people develop. You're all trying to like work through this thing together. You're in a
Yep.
new space, and I was teaching about like estuaries. So
Uh-huh.
like
Nice.
that little area like where like the river and meets the ocean kind of
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
so, and also dissecting squid.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow, in summer camp? That's rad.
yep,
Wow.
yep, yep.
Love it.
I loved it though. It was like the best. And I was Nemo before that was a movie, so I got it there first.
Nice. So you also
Yeah.
have a strong
Hmm.
case against
Hmm.
Pixar.
I
Yeah,
sure
it was a
do. I
Pixar.
really
Yeah, okay.
do. I
Yeah, you
really
will.
do.
You'll have to
But
like we'll
like
have
a
Doug.
lot of the
Doug.
kids, a lot of the kids, English wasn't their first language, and they were
Uh-huh.
like, What's your name?" And I was like, Nemo, and they couldn't understand it, so they called me Meatloaf, which I was like, yeah.
Also pretty sweet. And that
And
would have
then I
been
did,
like Meatloaf would have been a
yeah,
big date back then. So.
I know. But then I did for myself, I was in drama camp and it was like a few hours a day for like 3 months
Hmm.
and I loved
Hmm.
it. So that was more my
I think
experience.
like I mean, I think the idea of being away from home for like a few months as a kid is such a kind of wild idea. I mean, like, I know what happens for some kids here, and some kids like, go to private school and are sent away for things like that. But, certainly with my experience, people I know within my life, the idea of like being a kid and being away for months is mind blowing and very exciting.
And I have a good friend and she like her parents, I think I might have mentioned this to you like when I
Hmm.
was visiting, but her parents were really high up in the military, I think. So they moved every year basically. And so the only constant she had was her summer camp. That's where she would go
How
every
interesting.
summer. That became her family. She would get a fax being like, this is your new address. You're now living in this state kind of thing. So she was like, I could never say goodbye to anybody. She was like, one time I remember, I was in a new place and I didn't know my address. So I got off the bus and I didn't know where to go.
That must be tough as well. Like I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so I
yeah,
think I think like for some kids, that's probably what those turn into is really like it becomes more home than, you know, than home sometimes.
absolutely.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's good. It's good that we have those for
I think
those
it's
that can
yeah. I think it's
afford it and
a really nice idea. I really do. Like I definitely, you know, look at those sorts of things, the envy and stuff like that. But as I say, we did have stuff, and as I say, the summer schemes were good, and you made friends there as well. But yeah, you still had to go home at the end of the day,
I know.
for
And
better,
it's
for
like
worse. You know.
it's true. The camp I used to work at, like you can rent it.
Hmm.
So you can rent them, like it's called like the mess hall. And they'll cook for you. And then they have like, like 15 cabins. And I've always thought like, wouldn't it be cool to do like a week of outdoor school, but like adult summer camp?
Yeah, that is a nice idea. I really
So
like that.
yeah, yeah. So that could be in our future at some point.
Oh
Just saying.
yeah, now we're talking. Whenever we're like years
Mhm.
from now, we have a massive Bendy get together and we do it at a
That's
summer
right.
camp somewhere.
That's
Yeah,
right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I love it. Yeah, do you have anything else that you wanted
I
to chat
do. I
about?
wanted to know, like, is there music that puts that feeling of like your school's about to get out, and you're just like that last day of school, and you're like, yeah. Like, do you have any like songs that make you think of like summer?
Like 100%, but it's like the most basic bitch answer you could possibly imagine. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Summertime by Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
Yes. Yes.
And like
Yes.
it's so evocative, and like that's songs what, 35, 40 years old maybe? Scare it's
Uh,
probably at least 30. I think it was mid 90s, so maybe 30 years old.
yeah. They're not that old. I guess they
Well,
are. Are they
they
that
are like,
old?
because yeah, because like I mean that was
Ah,
before he went solo.
yeah.
I think it's probably 30 years old, so
Oh
like
my
it certainly would have
gosh.
been whenever I was still in school, where that would have been
Mm-hmm.
coming out, but like it
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know, it's such a strong connection, and and certainly that was a time when I was discovering hip hop and music, that sort of music, and kind of having a connection with that. But like it's yeah, fantastic. I'm trying to figure out when this was, but yeah, it's that's definitely my song that kind of connects me. And I'm gonna think if there are others. Do you have any that
I
spring to mind?
do. Basically, like every song in the Dazed and Confused soundtrack.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's like Sweet Emotion
Yeah,
is
that's a
like
good one.
huge. I know. And then for me, I think anything Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like I put some on yesterday when we were in the pool and I was like, yeah, just like winner, 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 winner,
Yeah.
winner. Sorry, everyone.
Uh,
Like this and that and it's like this and like that and like this and I just like, ugh, so good.
that's true. Yeah, you're right. I think so many of his songs, because I'm thinking of Beautiful, run through my head here, another Snoop Dogg
Mm-hmm.
song.
Yep.
They have a kind of a brightness to them that I can
Yep.
absolutely
Yep.
see.
Yep.
Okay, are you prepared for some devastating news?
Oh, yes.
Summertime was released in May 1991. Yeah,
1991.
that song's nearly 35 years. No, it's 33. What, 34 years old? Yeah, yeah, it would be 34 years old. Insane.
It's
May
like
1991. Yeah.
it's like ready for its midlife crisis
Yeah,
almost.
it is.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
I'm cry laughing.
I know. It's fine. It's
Fuck.
fine. Oh no. So yeah,
Ah.
but like there are probably others. That's the immediate one that springs to mind. And as I say, the obvious connection, the fact that it's called Summertime is a very basic choice, but it's the choice that I'm making and the
I
song
like
that kind
it.
of springs to mind.
I like
Uh,
it.
yeah.
Um, Tell me about sunscreen in Ireland.
Wait, sorry, sunscreen?
Sunscreen.
No, I
You
can't
put it
think.
on your skin?
No, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I so like it is just not a thing. Like, I mean, I don't remember using it that much when I was a kid at all. Like, and I have some, and I took
You
some.
guys have skin cancer?
Yeah, but like
Okay.
it's just like there's not
Because
enough
of,
sun for it to really matter, and like people aren't, the people who would be out in the sun have built up, even farmers and people who spend all their day outdoors have their skin has probably adjusted to it a bit more, and because it's not as oppressive as like as I say, we get a handful of very hot days, so it's not as big a deal. And like you can't absolutely get, we call it sun lotion, but like if I think of sun lotion, I think of my trips to Florida, and I
uh,
think of like I have such a strong association with like a coconut smell on one that I have a strong association with, and we would have probably bought it
probably
over
Hawaiian
there.
Tropic.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So like I have like one of our trips to Florida, my sorry, this is my sort of sun lotion experience was applying it properly everywhere, like and forgetting to apply it on the tops of my feet, and I got blisters all over the tops of my feet. It was insane, like it was so painful. Like the rest of my body, not it was grand, but it was in such pain just as a result of like forgetting to put them in the top, forgetting to put some in the top of my feet.
That's so sad.
Isn't that?
Poor little
I
Andy.
know. Like the tubs of solution that I have here are like, you know, 5 to 10 years old. But it's like we don't need that much very often.
So like the before school, the kids have to put sunscreen on
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
because they're outside all the time and
Makes
like
sense.
they've never had they they go to sunny places, they live in a sunny place. I'm proud to say as of today, and I'm trying not to jinx myself, but they've never had a sunburn.
Good. Good.
But like for swimming, they have full body sunsuits
Nice. Good idea.
and it's like they're 50 SPF.
Yes.
So it's like it's a thing, it's a
I,
thing. And like
I
we yeah, it's
And
definitely
I like again don't want to like broadly speaking, people in this country are more fair skinned. So if we do take a sun, a solution, it would be that the 50 SPF, because otherwise you
yeah,
need that or you're toast.
yeah.
But yeah, but like we are a fair skinned freckled people. That's our defense mechanism against sun, I guess. The minimal sun that we get.
It's just funny because we were going, yeah, for a hike, and I was like, "Do you guys like have sunscreen?" And you both looked at me like I was speaking
I
French to you. You're like, "A what?"
was like, yeah,
No,
I suppose we should have.
no, it's your
Yeah.
sister. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was me and my sister. Yeah, like because
Mm-hmm.
it's just not something we think we like. It would be very rare that we have to apply here, and as I say, only like that festival is out at the weekend, or if I know I'm going to be out in an extended period of time for an extended period of time, I would even consider it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's just like it'll be fine, you know.
yeah, yeah. And here it's like, uh,
It's like critical.
yeah, like to the point where like, oh, we didn't bring sunscreen. We need to go to the store,
Yeah,
or we need to go home because the kids, because kids.
yeah, yeah,
So,
100%. You got to be careful
and
there.
like,
Yeah, very much
yeah,
so.
and Mike's an idiot and like never puts it on. And he's like, "Whoa, you gotta burn!" And then he like peels it off and like throws it at the children. So gross.
Love it. So
So
good.
yeah, summer,
So good. So much
loving
fun.
it.
Loving it indeed. No matter what version of it you're getting. I think, I mean, we're probably ready to wrap up on this topic. Is there anything else you would like to touch on
I
before we
don't
move
think
on?
so. I don't
Cool.
think so.
Um, so yeah, so we're then to get to our favorite part of the podcast, as always. I've got to ask you, Beth, what's been bringing you joy over the past? I mean, like,
Oh,
you've only been back home for like 4 days.
so yeah, napping.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, no, yesterday was American Mother's Day.
Oh yeah.
So, it was just it's so sweet. Like the kids made me cards and Harper made a bracelet. But so, they got me Lego, which I'm stoked about. And
What did you get?
um it's like it's kind of it's one of the creator ones, so
Okay.
you can turn it into three things, but we were at the Space Museum
Hmm.
before I flew out to see you, and so they got me like a spaceship.
Love it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um but like Charlie's school had him fill out like the things that he knows about me. Like my mom's name is, she is this many years old. So to my 7-year-old, I weigh 8.12 pounds.
Okay, nice.
Um, my favorite thing to wear is my Pink Floyd t-shirt. Like he
Okay, I
knows me
mean,
so well.
it's
Uh-huh.
good. It's good. Hmm.
Uh-huh. Um, my favorite thing to do, he likes to do with me is snuggle.
Oh, hmm.
The thing that he feels bad about is he's always interrupting me when I'm busy. Hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, right? So it was just like it was sweet. Then we went to the flea market, which is
Uh-huh.
like in San Diego. It's all outdoor. It's like outside of like a big stadium.
Uh-huh.
They turn the parking lot into like this whole thing. So yeah, I talk about it a lot. So we
Yeah,
did that and went there, and it was fun. And
good.
like,
That sounds awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Lovely.
what was nice was it was really like low stress, low key,
Yeah.
like not like a big deal
Yeah.
at all. And I don't like being center of attention.
No.
So it's just the right amount of like adoration.
Yeah. Like,
So
yeah, my mom even these days is much more about experiences with us, just spending time with
yeah.
us. So we like, and like even she doesn't want to do anything on the day because our Mother's Day is a different date than yours. It happened a few months ago, but like she would prefer um like we take her out for a meal at a different time or lunch at a different time, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's always, but it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely. Um, so yeah, the th like because something
What
that's been
about you?
on my list for a while is I've been playing a game called, I think you would really like this. It's
Okay.
called A Little to the Left,
I've
and it's a
never
game.
heard of this.
I would be surprised if you had have. So it is a game about organizing things. Essentially, you are given a screen and it's like glasses with a pattern on them or like a set of books. It doesn't tell you how you should organize them. It's kind of relying on you using your intuition to figure out how it wants these things to be organized and then organizing them. And then like sometimes when you've done that, a cat will come in and just like knock it all away. It's pretty incredible. And you know, I feel like that's a universal experience, in terms of like getting things lined up nicely for people.
There's
And
a metaphor there.
yeah, there is, and it just taps into that in such a kind of beautiful way. So it's definitely making me really happy and just kind of scratching that sort of, probably like reptile brain itch, where I'm like everything must look neat, together. And also then, sprinkling that with the little chaos of a cat that comes in and kind of fucks everything up afterwards.
Knocks it
Yep.
off. Have
Just
you had cat? You've never had a cat, right?
no.
They
Though I've
do
been around them
that.
a decent chunk. There, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. And they just like hop out on something and they're just like, I'm gonna knock this over. And you're just like, all
Fuck
right.
this thing. I do kind of love that about cats. They're just like, so they're just such excellent assholes at times.
It's kind of like when, like, have you ever seen like a baby sitting in a high chair and they realize that if they drop something, like gravity happens? And
Yeah,
they're
and it
like, oh,
makes a
that's
cool noise.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that with cats, except for like they never grow out of that phase ever.
As soon as they
They're
do it, they're
just
like,
like,
this is me.
yeah,
This is my hobby from now on.
yeah, yeah, knocking shit off.
Like my only kind of experience was whenever I was like in Australia and I was living in a hostel, there was a hostel cat that would have like sets of kittens every like 6 months or so. So we would
Nice.
have about 68 kittens in the house for like big chunks of time, and it was like delightful, like truly enchanting. Like, you would just come home from a hard day at work, you'd pick up a kitten, you'd set it in your chest, you'd fall asleep, the cat would fall asleep, it rocked. But like even seeing them at such a young stage and such a formative age, how immediately they kind of dialed into like play and trying to play games and trying to play games with each other. And like I saw one of them like the two like three of them were like walking in through the back door, and one of them was like waiting at the side of the door and kind of had seen them coming, was just like, I'm gonna surprise attack them, and just like it wasn't like a kind of coordinated attack. It was just like it saw them coming, and then it just like threw its body like star shape into the air and just like at them, and then just chaos ensued. It was like this rocks. I love it.
That sounds wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, we had at the college I worked at, we had a cat that was always having kittens. Have I told you this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I was always like, I'd be like, there's 5 kittens at the window, and we'd all go out and like corral them, and then I'd try and adopt them out, and then I'd take them to the shelter to get adopted. My mom has one, like my friend, but many of my friends have these kittens that are now adults. The cat's name was we called her the white whale. She was this little like black and white cat. And it took us 3 years. Her name was Mrs. Tuxedo Patches. It took us 3 years to actually
Brilliant.
capture her and take her in and get her fixed, and then like re-released her because she was feral by that point.
Yeah.
But I love cats.
Yeah, no, they're good dudes. Like, I mean, and I am such a dog person, but cats
Yeah.
also rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, we'll save that for a cat episode.
We haven't
Persuading
done a
Andy.
dog
I mean,
episode.
we did a pets episode, but like we
We
do
did
probably,
pets, but like I think we can like
yeah,
go deep.
we can definitely get tons of info or for content out of dogs for sure. But yeah, that's for another time, I think. So yeah, I think as always, we'd like to remind you to follow, like us, and all things. You talked about that a bit at the top. Go to our
Yep.
website, wherever you listen to us, like, subscribe, whatever. Anything else?
If you want to leave a rating,
Yeah,
people care about those
they
things.
do.
We
Five
don't
stars
really, but yeah, 5 stars or
across the
four,
board.
four
Yeah,
and a half.
yeah, but only if that's the maximum that they go to, whatever
Right,
site you're
right.
using. Just max stars, whatever it is. But yeah, thank you. Cool. So yeah, so as always then we would like to remind you to stay bendy.
I started way too high. I
And then
started
you
way too high, and then
puffed
I
yourself
had
out.
nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go. I can't go that
No for
high.
next time. All right. I love you.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye, bye, bye.
Okay, good stuff.
Good. Okay.
I
Love and Summer. I put it on the checklist.
I feel so sl
Okay.
I just think
Hold on.
I don't know if my energy was bad. I felt so sleepy today. Sorry. I'm
No,
just
you're
like,
fine. I
okay.
think it was fine. Okay, let
Let
me
me stop this.